Welcome to the Journey to Happy podcast, where you get concrete tools for mindset work, my best tips for lowering your anxiety. And you also hear funny and encouraging stories from me and others who have stories to share. Around here, you'll discover the easy way to stop overthinking, to get rid of self doubt, and finally embrace a calmer, more confident you. I am Olga, your host, a former therapist, a life coach, wife, blissfully an IVF mother, and a coffee lover. I'm excited that you tune in today, and I'm honored to be on the journey with you. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Journey to Happy podcast. I'm Olga, your host, and as always, I want to take a moment briefly to thank you for being here, for tuning in, and for leaving me reviews. I truly enjoy reading your reviews, and I absolutely have loved the messages that I have received from some of you. And I specifically wanted to read you one today that I got this week that was just so exciting. uh, Somebody said to me, "You might not think that your messages are being heard when you're on the podcast, but let me tell you, you have been influential in my life, and all of your podcasts have helped me so much." Her name was Anna. So thank you so much for that message. It means a lot to me. And I also wanted to read you one of somebody who dared to send me a message. She wanted to ask me something that she's been struggling with, and then I answered, and in the day after we had exchanged messages, she said to me that she had been in, this is a message: I have to say that I went to see a therapist 2 years ago after I had my baby, and for months we talk about these situations, and not once did I have an aha moment. I had an aha moment after messaging with you for 5 minutes. Needless to say, she signed up for coaching with me, which is exciting. I am now full book, you guys, for the year of 2021 for private coaching, but I am currently taking names to start my new cohort of becoming the CEO of your own life. And if you've never heard about it, go on my website, check it out. But that is one of the most high touching points of coaching that you can do with me. It is a group setting. We have up to 12 women, no more than 12. And you get 2 group coachings a month, group coaching calls a month, as well as you get one-on-one with me. And so I'm opening one more starting September. And if you've been looking at being coached by me, this will be a great opportunity for you to do it, and a very empowering one. I want to read you some of the messages that I get on a regular basis from my current ladies in the CEO, and I just cannot tell you how inspiring it is. Lately, they've been sending a lot of messages because we all communicate through Voxer, which is an app where we can send voice memos as well as text. And so we all have a group, and we are constantly on communication with each other, where everybody kind of gets to be coached by each other and by myself. And just today I was reading some of the messages, and they were saying things like, "I feel so ready to trust myself. I remember you saying that there is always opportunities, and I've seen that this year. Opportunities are everywhere. I'm no longer overthinking my way through things. I can make decisions based on how I feel, and I've learned so much already this year." The Becoming the CEO of Your Own Life is a 1-year program because I am so invested in getting these women to become the boss, the badasses, bosses of their own life. And that's exactly what I'm seeing happening within the groups that I'm cohorting right now. So I'm just excited to open the doors for that. And if you want to be in this group, you have an opportunity right now by joining the waiting list. Joining the waiting list just makes sure that you have access to the email I will send once the doors open. And so you will be among the first 12 people. Obviously, you have to be a good match. So you get to chat with me eventually, and we determine together if this is for you. All right, I've done all that talking because it's really in my heart to offer this service. And now that I'm seeing what the women, the growth of the women in this program, I just don't have enough words to tell you how valuable it is to join me. And so the cost of that program is going to increase quite a bit in 2022. And so if you want to get this year's pricing, this is your time to do it. But I'm here to talk to you about how to overcome obstacles. And I have to tell you that I am so excited to be doing that for many reasons. One, because this is all about mindset talk. And as you know, I am a big fan of coaching people through mindset. And this is an opportunity to do that. But I am going to also open up and share with you what I've been up to these past few days. And it hasn't been easy. I have been overcoming obstacles. And I am recording this as I am in the midst of a unknown, difficult life moment. And I thought it was a great opportunity to come and show you how I coach myself out of mental drama and through obstacles. And so I want to share my story with the only hope to give you insight and hope as well in your own story. So, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, I am a life coach. I am a former therapist. I am a wife and I am an IVF mom. And I say that with pride because the title of motherhood is the title that I have worked for the longest and the hardest, more than any other title I have. And as some of you know, I just finished going through a fifth round of IVF in the hopes to make our second child. And we were lucky enough to end up with an embryo that we know is a female embryo. And we just transferred her yesterday into my uterus. So I am officially with baby on board. And I am a few weeks away from testing and seeing if the baby actually stuck to the uterus walls. And if it did, then that would mean that I'm pregnant. Yesterday, when we went to transfer our baby, the doctors had the bad news that our embryo, in the process of defrosting, thawing out, had suffered significantly. And although I don't fully understand how or what happens in that process from the embryo being in the freezer to not being frozen anymore, the quality of the embryo changed. And so the percentage of likelihood of this embryo sticking also changed. And so we went from having really good chances to having very little chances. Our doctor does not give us much hope at all for our embryo to work. And I was presented with this news as I was already with my gown, no clothes on, taking photos, just getting so ready and excited to welcome my baby girl. Something that I've been prepping my body and my mind for, well, 6 months total. And what was not what I was expecting. And so, although I thought I had no expectations, definitely I had the expectation that I was going to go in, pick up my baby, and go. Turned out that I was faced with this news just before going into the operating room. And so I was given the opportunity to not transfer. And also because it's COVID right at this moment, then we're not allowed to have our partners in any of the process, which is very unfortunate. So I couldn't even have Chris with me to ask him what he thought. I could just text him quickly and say, hey, we've got bad news. This is what's happening. Long story short, you guys, I decided to transfer, obviously, my baby girl. I have been injecting myself with hormones for the past 7 days, and I have been taking hormones 3 times a day. Like the list goes on of the things that I have been doing in the hopes to have our baby come or to be transferred. And so, long story short, life happens and it's unexpected and is not always pleasant and is not always fair. And there we are, presented with decisions to make. And we always, like, it's easy to work on mindset when we don't have barriers, when we don't have obstacles, when all is well, it's easy to keep a positive mindset. But it's when we have challenges that we think we don't have a choice. And I was coaching somebody earlier today on this. When we have challenges, we tend to tell ourselves, oh, I kept my mindset. I tried up until they told me this. And then, like, so before my doctor told me that my embryo had suffered significantly, I had the best attitude going into that transfer. I was so excited and so positive and so hopeful. And the moment he said those words, I heard them. I said, well, that sucks. Yeah, no, we're still transferring. And I moved on. I moved on. That did not feel like my reality. And so I went into the room and I wanted to be as equally excited as I was prior to those news. Obviously, understanding and being informed that my chances had decreased, I still chose to have hope. What happened following that? Obviously, after I left, I had a chance to be with Chris and to just kind of process what that felt like. There were a lot of feelings, and I am still processing. But a feeling that felt really uncomfortable for me is that the clinic didn't follow all procedures to the best of their ability, which was very frustrating. And they mismanaged much of the process. So I was upset at the process, how the process got to not be followed to how it should have been, which I think caused the damage to my embryo. And so that's a very frustrating thing because we cannot go back in time. And that, my friends, was my first point of reflection. I cannot change what's happened. Therefore, if I keep revisiting in my mind all the things that they could have done that they didn't do, I'm just going to drive myself crazy. And in the process of doing that, I'm going to take my family with me on this ride of craziness. So that cannot be it. I needed to process things differently. And so that's what I decided to do. I gave myself the time to feel sorry for me, to feel that it sucked, to feel kind of the loss that it meant for us to have gone through this process with, what had happened to our embryo. And from then on, I had to choose what mindset will benefit me the most, because ultimately I am responsible for my own emotions. And I coach women on this all the time. And God, have I ever been never have I ever been as thankful as I was yesterday to do the work that I do for a living, because right there I had all the tools I needed to overcome this obstacle. What would have been an Olga without mindset work done in this scenario? I would have panicked. I would have been disappointed to the point I couldn't look past the problem. I would have been already in like fortune telling, just telling the future as if I had it, and it wouldn't be positive. I would be already in giving up, defeating mindset. And in worry, I'll be worrying about everything. I'll be trying to read every possible article on Google that would tell me if my baby had chances. I will be just essentially trying to find the future sooner, if that makes sense. If ever you've been anxious, you know exactly what I mean. If you could just know what the future holds and you feel that you can prep for that. Well, that's not how you overcome obstacles. You don't overcome obstacles by wanting to be where you're not. And so I just decided to land in this moment. And in this moment, I decided that what I really needed was all of the love and the positivity and the harmony, and to bring my mind to where I actually want to go. So it's easy to work on our mindset when things are going along the way we want them. But when they're not, that's when it's mandatory, when it's essential that we shape our mind, that we bring it to where we want to go. So yesterday for me was life's way of giving me an opportunity to reconfirm my desire to have a strong mindset, to believe that I get to be a mother a second time. I made that choice. I made a baby. And I get to hold on to my hope, my desire, my illusion for as long as that's no longer an option. That is how you overcome obstacles with your mind. It's not about going back in time and solving the problem. Because look, yesterday's my problem, what caused my problem is unresolvable. Like there is nothing I can do that would change my outcome. If what happened in the way in which they handle my transfer impacted me negatively or not, I will never have, there's nothing that I can now in retrospect do that would change my reality. My reality has been impacted, and that's how it is. Sometimes we think that the way to overcome obstacles is merely by changing like physically the things or the things that we say. But trust me when I say the real way to overcome any obstacle is by deciding how you want to think about this, what your mindset is going to be. I am sitting here chatting with you guys, feeling calm, confident, in a place of acceptance. I have accepted that the clinic and my doctor and the way everybody who was involved in this process messed up. I could go through all the details, but I won't bother you with that. They made mistakes. Mistakes were made. And I have to accept that because I cannot change the past. And even if I complain, if I get a reimbursement, if I get an I am sorry, none of it changes the fact that they made mistakes and I or my embryo paid the consequences. None of it changes. None of it's going to make it fair. So all I have is my mind, and I get to decide, is this going to be an obstacle that I'm not going to get past it? Am I going to choose resentment and regret and anger, or am I going to show up because this is my life, the only one I have, and am I going to show up in a powerful way to make it easier on me? Because it already stinks. So how can I make this easier on me? And of course, that's been my decision. My decision is that I only get to live once and I get to enjoy this life because it's my birthright to do so. And because there is nothing that I cannot overcome. I can do hard things and I can overcome obstacles. And this is my way of overcoming my present obstacle. I do not know what the future holds, but I do know that until I know what the future holds, I am going to have fun. I've turned into gratitude because every day my baby girl is in my uterus is a happy day. And that's it. For as long as I can feel that there is two of us, I am celebrating that there is two of us. There is nothing else I can do. So, how do you overcome obstacles? I would love for you to think of the last obstacle you had, whatever that is, a fight with your partner, a confrontation at work, a fear, a diagnosis. I don't know where in life you're at and what obstacle you've had, but I want you to now bring awareness to your attitude towards that. What has been your attitude so far? Is your attitude making this feel, oh my God, thank God I've got this great attitude because it's helping me through? Or is your attitude victimizing you further, where you feel less capable? Is your attitude psyching you out of the experience? I would love for you to take a moment and decide what attitude will be amazing to have. And then I want you to dare to have that attitude, to grab your courage and say, I can and I will overcome this obstacle and I will keep my mindset in check. Every time my mind goes towards like, oh God, what if, insert drama, you're going to bring it out of drama. And you said, but what is happening is this. I would say to overcome obstacles, you want to think of the following. What do I need to accept? Because if I cannot change it, if I cannot modify it, if I cannot do something about it to change my reality, like in my case, the only option is acceptance. And I would add, accepting does not mean I like it. I will never like how they handled it, but I better accept it so I can clean my body immediately from that energy of resentment. Acceptance is your friend, is not your enemy. Acceptance doesn't mean that you're letting people get away with something. You bet I will write a letter of complaint, a formal complaint about what happened in our process. But I'm only going to do that once I feel that I have fully processed my emotions, because I want to do it from a really strong mindset place of strength, and not place of I'm still processing. So I want you to stop and think about that. What do I need to accept? What's in my hands to change? How can I change it? What attitude have I been having towards this one obstacle? And is it helping me? And if it's not, what can I do about it? That, my friends, is how you overcome obstacles. Obstacles are not solely overcome by taking steps, talking to people, getting things resolved, but primarily by adjusting our mindset, the way in which we're looking at things, and making sure that our view of that problem, of that obstacle, is in alignment with how we want to feel about this problem. So, how I want to feel about this problem is that I am calm and happy and hopeful. And so that guided me to say, okay, what do I need to get there? And so, of course, I've been doing this work for a long time. Plus, I coach women on this all the time. So, for me, that transition was overnight. Like yesterday, as we were driving back home, I was already thinking of these. I was already making shifts. And this morning, I woke up, I knew a woman, like I knew exactly what I needed to do, where my mind was at. I got up, I went for 6 kilometer walk. I connected to my breath. I reshaped my mind. I set my goals. I realigned with my intention. This is what I want to feel. This is who I'm going to be while I go through this. I get to decide. And the results, you hear me. I am just happy. I am listening to myself, to my needs. I am calm, and I hold all the hope for our little girl to stick. That's where I'm at. So if ever you're wondering, how do you overcome obstacles? I want you to go from thinking of the outside world solving your obstacle to coming to you, specifically to your mindset. And if this is something, you guys, that you want help with, I would not only encourage you to join my Becoming the CEO of Your Own Life group coaching program, but if that's not something that you're willing to do at this moment, because it's about 1 year long, and because of maybe your level of commitment to yourself is not there, do think about taking my Detox the Mind course, because in 12 weeks I walk you through mindset changes, like the how to's. I answer to the question of how to, which is what my clients ask me. I like that, but how do I do it? Well, I've recorded a course on that, and it's called Detox the Mind. And in the show notes, there is a link, and you can purchase this course, which you also get to keep for life. Either way, you guys, I am just here to say you can overcome obstacles if you have been too much on a mindset that doesn't allow you to look at things differently. Get yourself some help, and I would love to be the person who helps you. And I just gave you 2 ways in which you can do that. So, but if I am not the person for you, look for somebody that can help you change your mindset and sustain it in a way that allows you to rely on yourself to look through the circumstances that are heavy, that allow you to look differently, so that you can shape the mindset to be in alignment with what you want versus what your fears tell you. Our mindset is either fear-based or intention-based. And intention-based is coming from what we actually have in our heart, what we want to experience. Fear-based is coming from our lacks, what we don't have, what we're afraid of it happening. Your choice. But remember, you get to choose. You are in power. You're in control. You are the CEO of your own life, and that's a gift. Talk to you guys soon.